Well, Dolphin fans. What do we have here? What do we have here? What alternate universe have we woken up to this morning where Stephen Ross, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, is finally at the ripe old age of 86, growing a brain and a pair, and he's got his brain in one hand and the pair in the other, and he's using them at the same time. Congratulations, Stephen Ross. Miami Dolphins fire former head coach Mike McDaniel, but he wasn't the former head coach until after we fired him. So when we fired him, he was still the head coach. Owner Stephen Ross announced the news citing the need for comprehensive change. Says, at change. I informed Mike McDaniel this morning that he's been relieved of his duties as head coach. I love Mike and want to thank him for his hard work, commitment, and the energy he brought to the organization. Mike is an incredibly creative football mind whose passion for the game and his players was evident every day. I wish him and his family the best moving forward. As an addition to that, ESPN's Adam Schefter reported Thursday that the team has not contacted John Harbaugh, the hottest coach on the market, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that it won't be that way for long. It won't be that way for long, will it? Hey guys, Miami Sports, Jake, Colin. No, we're only live on the football channel right now. I figured I had a half hour, so we'll do this here on the football channel, and then we'll just go to the noon stream on the. I figured I had a half hour. That's good enough, right? So, no, we're just doing two. See, I'm all prepared. I will just change. We'll just change hats when we go to the hockey channel. We'll just change hats. So, yeah, I missed the vids. To be honest, I didn't think they'd get rid of them. I will tell you this. Sometimes people learn, and we've all given Ross a bunch of grief and everything, but when Harbaugh got fired, you had to know that there's no way if you're the Dolphins you can't reach out to him, number one. And number two, everybody remembers Tony Sperano getting an extension because Ross had already gotten caught with his hands on the cookie jar trying to replace him. So this to me shows that Ross has learned from that mistake. You can't make the same mistake twice and expect to be a an organization that's taken seriously. Yeah, we're deciding tomorrow on a to hire a new GM. Right, right. Now I thought for a minute the way it might have gone was hire the new GM, have the GM fire Mike, and then see what happens at the coaching. In terms of Harbaugh, Colin saying, I'm happy they fired Mike, but is John Harbaugh that much better considering all the blown leads and stuff? I mean, it's a viable point. It's a viable point, but we know Harbaugh can do it. I'm look, I like McDaniel. You guys know I was like, I'm not gonna cry if he stays. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been mad and upset if he stays. But what I like about what Ross is doing is finally both the comprehensive change, just what he said. Finally, a new GM and a new coach, a whole new direction. Now, there still remains the possibility that he could screw this up because Champ Kelly, the interim GM, is still one of the guys that got a second interview, that got an in-person interview. So hopefully, he does the right thing and we go from outside the organization. And I guess I heard Harbaugh's not going to talk to people or interview until next week. So there's that. How would I feel about Spags? I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, look, any of the coaches, I mean, even Harbaugh, and even if Tomlin got fired, um, if they're retreads, they've got their flaws, right? In terms of Bouchard says, would I be happy if we got Harbaugh? I mean, we could do a lot worse. We could do a lot worse. I'd be curious to see what Harbaugh would think about the situation, because he goes from a situation in Baltimore where there's kind of pressure to win, right? You got Lamar, they've won before, it's been a while. And coming into Miami would be, there's going to be a situation, most likely you assume, that we're going to have a down year or two. Not that we've been great, but we've been middling around 500, and we did it again this year. 7-10 is still middling around 500. You're not, if you didn't get a top 3 draft pick, you're middling. You know what I mean? And so it's likely that. What the heck is that noise? Excuse me. What the heck is the noise? Somebody knocking at the door? Hold on a second. What do we got here? Maybe not. Well, Donna's got it. If somebody's knocking at the door, Donna's at the kitchen table. So Leia's are barking her head off. Stefan's Belichick. Definitely no to Belichick. Definitely not interested there. I'm really curious to see the whole direction that we take, right? Because now with a new GM and a new coach, that's an entirely different situation. You're not going to be bringing back Tua. I think we pretty much know that. Maybe we'll probably finally move off of the way that we've been situating things with small, quick, wide receivers and ignoring the offensive line. And to some extent, we did draft guys for the defensive line, but I even though our recent history doesn't lead to much excitement, I would still say that I'm kind of excited to see what happened. It'd be nice for them to finally win and to finally be good again, and to, when we grew up, I grew up anyway, we expected to win every year, even though we weren't. We knew we were going to win 10, 11, 12 games most seasons, and we didn't. When we didn't, it was going to be, it was a shock. Do I think we'll have more of a rebuild this year? I mean, probably. There's just not enough to try to retool, in my opinion. Yours is a possibility, but he's not a lockdown guaranteed guy. The cupboard is completely bare past him in terms of the quarterback position. The wide receiver position, Tyreek, just move on from him, get what you can. He's got the injury issue anyway. He wasn't getting any younger. Waddle never stays healthy, drops the ball too many times. Malik and Taj Washington, it's not, it's there's not a lot there. You have a couple of prime players. You've got Achane, which far and away is our best player. And on defense, you have a few guys. I mean, Chubb is in the second tier, not the top tier, I would say, but in the second tier of defensive linemen in terms of rushing the passer. But in terms of the young guys up and coming, Chop Robinson, kind of inconsistent, had the injuries this year. There's nothing much that really stands out at you as a building block except for Achane, and you're not going to build around a running back. They don't last long enough. Zuma says, I still fear that even if we bring in a new coach, the results will be the same. It might be a long process, and we can't be firing coaches left and right. Well, Ross has been pretty reluctant to fire guys more recently, obviously. When's the last time we fired the coach and the GM at the same time? I think it might be all the way back. I mean, it might be decades since we did both at the same time. David says, please, guys, please let us get Harbaugh and Burrow. I'll be good. I'll be good, I promise. Is that you, Kyle? Hey, open the door. I want to see your face when I tell you this.
Yeah.
They fired McDaniel.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Please tell me they're not going to hire John Harbaugh.
I mean, you got any better suggestions?
So Stephen Ross, another coach, falls to the axe after 4 seasons.
Exactly. So, all right, wakey.
I swear, if they hire John Harbaugh, you think they'll fix things.
Well, don't forget, we're getting a new GM, too. I mean, it's not like we're going to put Harbaugh out there with Tyreek and Tua. So, David, you're interested in Burrow. I don't know how we're supposed to make that happen. I mean, why don't we just get Burrow and Lamar and let them compete for the job, right? David says, hey, Josh, if they do this right, we just might see a Super Bowl before the end. I agree. But if let's just see who they hire at GM. The GM is just as important, right? I mean, you got to have somebody that has a brain. And the thing is don't be fooled by whatever the general manager says, right? Because when he gets hired, I mean, Chris Greer's introductory press conference, he talked about building the trenches. We're going to build it right. We're going to invest in the trenches. Liam Eichenberg's still on the team. Chris Greer said one thing and did another. How much of that was McDaniel? I don't know. But especially on defense, he has consistently, for the most part, drafted the same player. Like Grant and Biggers and some of these guys that are on the defensive line. They're big. They could play. They're nothing special. Nothing special. I'm trying to think on defense. I mean, Christian Wilkins was nothing special. He was good, but nothing special. The closest thing I think that Greer drafted on defense that would even be remotely close to what you would think maybe was some close to something special was maybe Andrew Van Ginkel, and he's turned out to be okay. Not. So that's my point is like he just kept drafting the same guy over and over again. Like not good enough to be great, but not bad enough to be replaced. It's like William Judson. For you older Dolphin fans, who remembers Judson at cornerback? It was like, yeah, all right. He's okay, serviceable. You know what I mean? Kind of like Balinskis. Excuse me. So Pacharo would no. Kazuma said, would I draft a quarterback? David says, no decent quarterbacks left when we draft. Truth is, what I would do is I would focus on wide receiver. Not first round, but if I'm going to look at the team that we have right now, the 3 areas of focus I would focus on most is getting bigger at wide receiver, getting better on the offensive line, and getting better in the secondary. The defensive line is good-ish. The linebacking core, if everybody sticks around, is good-ish. They're solid enough to be respectable. And then I wouldn't mind seeing Ewers for a season throwing to some wide receivers with some height. And then, if he's not the guy, then maybe you start talking about drafting another one. I mean, we could still draft a guy in the mid rounds, but there's no savior. There's no savior in this draft for us. You know what I mean? And of course, you're going to have a whole different system now. So who knows if Ewers is even going to look decent. But he's on the team. You know what I mean? Like, we drafted him. There's no sense in kicking him to the curb. I don't know if another coach is going to come in and think he's an attractive piece or just a guy. So it wouldn't be against drafting a guy. But realistically, the way that the roster is going to flesh out, unless some miracle happens when you get like Burrow or Lamar or something like that, would be, you're looking at having a middle, not so much a Geno Smith specifically, but just a solid veteran guy to try to compete with yours. And then if you draft a guy in the, third, fourth, fifth round, but I wouldn't want to just like draft the quarterback and just throw him out there with this roster again. You know what I mean? We got too many needs elsewhere. David says, we need O-line help. We need cover guys. We can find receivers in the later rounds. Exactly, David. To me, I think Ewers with tall. The reason why I keep saying Ewers with taller receivers is because he seems to have a pretty good ability for a rookie to move around, extend the play, and he's very, very good at, while he's moving around and having pocket presence, scanning downfield. And so I get the sense with him that if he had some 6'2" and 6'3" wide receivers, that he could just kind of chuck it up there and let them go up and get it when he's extended the play. That's the kind of feeling I get from him. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Yeah, Colin says defense, O-line, and wide receivers is how I prioritize things. Yeah, exactly. Hey, LB. David says, but I'm telling you, Burrow's not feeling Cincy. He gets killed every game, and Cincy's an ugly, ugly place. When there's smoke, there's fire. Come on, Joe. Miami is great. I mean, I won't ruin your, how would we do it? And I'm saying that from a position of I would like to do it. You know what I mean? Colin says next year's quarterbacks is where is at. Yeah. I mean, considering all the other needs we have, I mean, Ewers at worst is going to be an average quarterback. To my, I say you fix the secondary, fix the O-line, get a couple of bigger wide receivers, give Ewers a year to see what happens. And then if he doesn't prove to be the guy, then maybe you got to trade up to get a decent quarterback. But hey, Jameson says Dolphins need to hire Pete Carroll and bring in Geno and that terrific guaranteed contract. David says, I'm just about giddy. The Canes play tonight. The Cats play tonight. The Dolphins at a possible turning point. Don't kill my buzz, damn it. I'm saying, how do we make? I'm saying it from a position of wanting to do it. What's Burrow's situation? What's his contract? Jesus. So he's making. So he's got a 5-year, $275 million deal. So what's that? 55 million dollars, right? Whatever it is. So, I mean, look. All right. So here's a question for you, David. Tua, Tyreek, and 2 firsts for Burrow. Would you do it? Because at least then we get rid of Tua's contract. I know David's going to say yes, right? He says not a lot considering he's probably the best quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. Oh, so because David says right now, exactly. Because the question is, does Harbaugh want to come here? That's a legit question. That is a legitimate question. It depends. It depends on where he's at in his career. There's not a lot of teams right now that are like instant Super Bowl contenders that are just missing a coach. He might enjoy the challenge of a rebuild. He might enjoy the weather. He's getting a little bit older. He's been in Baltimore all these years. Like, he might just enjoy the weather. So I don't know. We'll see. But it's good. It's good news all the way around. Now, get the GM hire right. Please don't just keep Champ Kelly. That would be such a disappointment. Kazuma, Tua or Phillip Rivers. Oh man, I admire Rivers' spirit for coming back, but he couldn't throw, man. David says, can you imagine Harbaugh does an Andy Reid and comes here and gets us multiple titles? Sure, why not? I mean, look, fresh starts for everybody. Look at Paul Maurice. He was like, I quit. These guys ain't listening to me anymore. I quit. I'm tired. I'm going to go fishing. I think I'm going to just retire. And then the Panthers called him. And then the next thing you know, right? Because he even said, I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought I was just going to go fishing. We're finally cleaning house. We're being competent. I know. It only took, when was the last time? Let me see if I can get an answer to that real quick before we get over to the hockey. Let's see. When was the last time the Miami Dolphins fired their GM and head coach in the same offseason? When was the last time we did that? Not this time, dummy. Damn it. It's already giving me now. Hold on. Okay. Let me see. Prior to this year. Let me see if I can get it. God dang it. It won't give me the, I was seeing if I could get a quick AI answer, but it's not. It's just giving me this year that they did it. Does anybody remember the last time we did that? Okay, the early 2000s, when no, it wasn't. When was the last time? To find the exact prior instance, you'd need to look back into the 1990s, because I don't think Ross has done it before. I'm looking at this. There was significant turnover with Spielman, Wannstedt, and then Mueller, Wannstedt, and then later with Jeff Ireland and Tony Sperano. That might have been it. Kazuma, yeah, according to ChatGPT, I don't think it's ever happened. Hey, Icy. David. Yeah, Kazuma, I don't know if we've ever done this before, both at the same time, basically in the same year. Like, I think we fired Ireland the year. When did we fire Ireland? And then Sperano was during the season. Yeah, Real says, Troy Aikman, I love you. Let's just make Troy Aikman the GM. At this point, let's just make Troy Aikman the GM. Oh, geez, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, right? What is this? Oh, hold on a second. Okay, I'll have to look at that later. Real says, he told Ross everything. He's done is wrong. Yeah, we got to keep it away. We got to keep it away from Zito. Yeah, we popped our coach GM cherry. It only took, 57 years? How many? Almost 60 years? Damn it. All right, I'm going to close this up, and I'll be back over at the Hockey Channel in 1 minute. Dolphin fans, be happy. Be happy, 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 and you know what? Clap your hands. Now, don't screw up the GM search. All right, I'll see you over there, and I'll be late by 2 minutes.